In this video, we're going to talk about the Bitcoin spot ETFs having a record-breaking 19 consecutive days of inflows, and the concerns as to why BTC hasn't broken its all-time high price despite this impressive volume. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just curious about what an ETF is, we got you covered in this video. All right, so first, what is an ETF exactly? ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, are exactly as the name implies. Funds that trade on exchanges, generally tracking a specific index. When you invest in an ETF, you get a bundle of assets you can buy and sell during market hours. So the real question is, why would you want to buy an ETF? Well, a good reason to invest in ETFs is for diversification purposes. This can help you lower risk and lower costs compared to investing in individual securities. So let's real briefly dive into the Bitcoin ETF and give you guys a little bit about its recent history. A Bitcoin exchange-traded fund is a financial product that allows investors to gain exposure to the price movements of Bitcoin without actually holding the asset itself. Shares of a Bitcoin ETF are traded on traditional stock exchanges, making it easier for investors to participate in the cryptocurrency market. Now, of course, a Bitcoin ETF does have its cons as well. Holding Bitcoin ETFs, like I said before, means you are not actually holding the tangible Bitcoin, which means you miss out on all the benefits and pros that Bitcoin has comparative to holding with an institution. Some being you are not self-custodying that Bitcoin, you cannot interact with that Bitcoin by sending it from place to place seamlessly, and overall it's just a completely different structure as it's not directly tied to the blockchain when you're holding a BTC ETF. With the BTC ETF, this would be more beneficial for people that are very tied up with certain institutions or have their IRAs or RIAs in different institutions. That way they can invest in cryptocurrencies, but they don't have to necessarily take a massive tax to transfer over to the market and those sort of things. All right, so why are these recent record inflows such a big deal? Well, on June 6th of this year, the Bitcoin ETF net inflows reached $218 million, making it the 18th consecutive day of positive inflows. This streak represents the longest in history for any asset in the world, reflecting strong investor confidence and interest in Bitcoin ETFs. The single-day inflows of BlackRock's IBIT ETF rebounded to $350 million, the highest level in the last 2 trading months. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, it means that Bitcoin is being massively accumulated right now with the help of these ETFs, which means IRAs are finally getting into the hype of Bitcoin. A perfect example is that my mom was recently able to put her IRA into Bitcoin with Fidelity without having to take a massive tax hit for transferring it over to a cryptocurrency exchange. Another thing we need to consider about this hype is that it takes about 90 days for RIAs to transfer over to a new ETF. It is a waiting period for safety reasons, and that might be a big reason why we're seeing a massive volume increase over the last few weeks. Okay, so why hasn't Bitcoin crossed its all-time high price if there's a record inflow in ETFs? Well, some analysts say that there are many other factors that impact the price and that the ETFs don't have enough influence just yet. Quote, ETF flows are fantastic, but they are not strong enough to exceed the entire ecosystem selling yet, says Capriol investment founder Charles Edwards, who recently told Cointelegraph. Since the ETF's launch, spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen over $15.5 billion in inflows. Although some traders believe the amount is still too small to significantly impact prices until other markets open up, we do need to understand that the majority of people buying Bitcoin ETFs are buying to hold for a very, very long time. These are not your traditional traders that are going in and out of the market on a consistent basis. So we need to understand that the people accumulating this Bitcoin is not letting it go anytime soon. Another thing we need to consider is that spot Bitcoin ETFs are still just starting to pop up around the world. We just had Australia launch theirs, we just saw one in Hong Kong, but we're also waiting to see many more. In quote, there are still no spot Bitcoin ETFs in the UK or Japan, two major markets. There is lots of room to grow, says Cane Island Alternative Advisors founder Timothy Peterson, who told Cointelegraph. Now, whether you're pro Bitcoin ETFs or against them, the one thing we can all agree on is that record inflows into BTC ETFs is a very bullish indicator. The surge in open interest coincides with record inflows into spot Bitcoin ETFs and a bullish long-short ratio, indicating positive market sentiment and expectations for Bitcoin to reach new all-time highs in the coming weeks. Sean Farrell, head of digital asset strategy at Fundstrat, noted the significant inflows into spot Bitcoin ETFs and highlighted that the macroeconomic environment favors the cryptocurrency market. He further stated that economic growth is advancing at a non-recessionary pace and signs of disinflation persist. In addition to the Bitcoin ETF inflows, option traders are increasingly optimistic about Bitcoin's future. Open interest is concentrated on call options with strike prices of $75,000, $100,000, and $80,000 respectively. We even just had Luke Striger, CEO of Deribit, the largest crypto options exchange, noted the bullish sentiment in the BTC options market. And if anyone has back-end data, it's going to be that guy. Traders anticipate new all-time highs driven by strong Bitcoin ETF inflows. Okay, so let's get this right. We have traders anticipating new all-time highs driven by strong Bitcoin ETF flows, the European Central Bank cutting rates along with Canada, and the recent approval of an Ethereum ETF. Guys, if this isn't the writing on the wall, I don't know what to tell you. Clearly, this is mass adoption right around the corner. And if we would have talked about BlackRock and Fidelity and all these other institutions getting involved with the cryptocurrency industry just 2 years ago, Bitcoin would skyrocket. So although we're just chilling around a merely $70,000 Bitcoin, we need to really take a step back and look at how far we've come and really how we're just getting started. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you in the next.